Hello, everybody. So glad to see you guys. Thank you for being here today. We are so excited about this opportunity that we want you guys to come on this cruise with us. So we are going to be sharing all of the information this evening. I'm going to get started with introducing your hosts. Hold on, if we could someone pass forward for me? There we go. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. So the hosts, these are us, our friends. We are all going to be cruising together with you. So let's start with Latasha Henderson.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Thanks for joining us.
And then we have myself, Jen Altidy. We also have Megan Curdy.
Hi, guys. Thanks for being here.
Nikki Jones.
Hi. Thanks for dialing in.
And Heather Edridge.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Awesome. All right. Next slide, please. I am so excited to introduce to you guys one of our favorite partners that we work with, Miss Diane. She is with AMAWaterways. Miss Diane, I'm going to switch it over to you.
Thank you so much. And yeah, you're showing me the love. That's something we do at our little hearts. So thank you so much for inviting me to join you to talk about this amazing cruise to beautiful Bordeaux that you've all put together for an October 9th departure on our beautiful Amadolce. And on this particular trip, you're going to be traveling on a river. And so I always like to start a presentation by just explaining what a river cruise is. And the best way is with this beautiful quote, which is oceans take you to rivers. In other words, big cruise ships take you to countries. Big cruise ships can take you there, but only the rivers can take you through them, because the rivers create a beautiful road system through the countries of Europe. And no better than in Bordeaux area will you experience this. And on a river cruise ship, it's a very special experience. A river cruise ship is like a floating boutique hotel. But you might wonder, why did these ladies choose AMAWaterways? And what is so special about us? And we are a special company. This year, we're celebrating 21 years in business. So we're truly legal now. 21 years ago, we started as a family-owned and operated business, and we still today are family-owned and operated. We are so proud of the fleet of ships that we have built, and all of the ships are beautiful in this country of France. We especially are proud of our little French balcony ships, because when you're in France, you should have French balcony ships, right? We have an exceptional crew, which we'll talk about. We have incredible shore activities and excursions to offer you that are all complimentary. And the thing about a river cruise, it's like a floating boutique hotel, as I mentioned, that gives you a tour as you cruise through a country with everything included along the way. And that's the beauty of it. You dock in the heart of the towns. You're right there. You can literally get off of the ship. You can walk into the towns. You have the freedom. It's very different than when you're on a big cruise ship with lots of passengers. This particular river cruise ship holds 148 passengers. And when you dock in the towns, you can choose to go out on our tours, or you can choose to go out on your own, whatever you decide. Now, what's included in an AMAWaterways river cruise is very important for you to know. I just mentioned pretty much everything is included. However, some of the things you should be fully aware of is that we do our food sourcing locally. So everything is fresh. There's no such thing as a frozen piece of fish on board our ship. Everything is taken from the market every day. We even go in and buy the fresh produce. Sometimes you even have the opportunity, you'll see the crew getting off and coming back with their bags of produce. And that always makes me want to pinch myself, because I know how delicious that dinner is going to be that evening. We also have many we are an award-winning company, but we do offer many choices for your meals. We have, of course, our lavish breakfast and lunch, which we do serve for you on board the ship, as well as your multi-course dinners. But in addition to that, besides just eating in our main dining area, we also have a chef's table experience, which means one evening you'll be treated to a wonderful dining experience with a 10-course dining menu. Now, don't worry, it's tasting menu. We won't need a wheelbarrow to roll you out when we're done, but you are going to enjoy that special, special meal. Along with that comes local wines and they are premium wines. We hand select them, and every evening we change them. So you get to taste the wines from the region that you're traveling in. So you'll have different red wines to try, different white wines to try, whatever you like. And in addition to that, prior to the meal hour, we have what's called our sip and sail hour, where you can indulge in wonderful cocktails if you'd like. We also have complimentary sodas, waters, coffees, teas. This is all included in the cost. If you have any special dietary requirements, make sure that you tell your travel advisor about this, because we certainly can handle that. We have no problem with that. We can handle all dietary requirements other than kosher. So we're all good. Now, because you're going to be eating and drinking a lot, you need to also be moving. And so we do have a wellness activity program on board with a wellness host. And I really love this because it's really fun. It brings people together. If you'd like to partake, you can join our wellness activities in the morning, where you can maybe do a champagne yoga class, my personal favorite. And I'm thinking France, champagne, okay, that all goes together, or maybe a cappuccino class. We have that as well. But in the end of the day, the wellness host is on board, not just to provide you with classes or hardcore workout programs, but to make it fun. They join us on our active tours too, so that when you're doing a biking tour, you've got that activity director with you as well. If for any reason you decide you want to go back to the ship, you certainly can. So when we talk about activity off of the ship, it's very important that you know that the average age on AMAWaterways is about 55. That means we're getting younger people, older people. So we have developed a very rich program of activities for you. Anywhere from our biking tours, we have 25 bikes on board. You can take them on your own. You can go with our actual planned tours. We also have hiking tours for those that want a more fast or more active experience. But we also have for slow walkers and gentle walkers. If you just want a slow pace, we've got that as well. Interspersed with that, we also have small group touring experiences. Like in France, there happens to be one I love where you can actually go to a castle and drink some wine and have some chocolates. So we're going to have all sorts of special tours. And by 2025, who knows what extra ideas we've come up with. We're always changing it up to make it new and exciting for our guest. So let's look at the itinerary itself on this, on the Taste of Bordeaux. When you look at that, you can see the river in the inset. And the river really, it's shaped like a U because it's actually estuaries that were going on, as well as the river itself. The Dordogne, the Garonne. We are going around this whole region of wine countries in Bordeaux, up and back. And every day it will be different. I guarantee it. Nothing is repeated. When you look at the inset and then you look at the main map there on the screen, you'll see that there's also some blocks that say 1, 2, and etc. Those are actually the land touring packages are going to be offered as well as an extension from your river. So the river cruise portion is 8 days and 7 nights. And then you can extend on the beginning or the end, if you like, to the Loire Valley, to Paris, to Bilbao, or to San Sebastian. So why Bordeaux? Bordeaux is amazing. I mean, it is the most amazing place to cruise around because these are the sites that you're going to see along this river. In my opinion, it's probably the most ultimate French experience you can have. If you happen to love wine, this is a place you want to go. It is the quintessential place for wineries in France. The region is known for its architecture, however, also. It's also known for its arts, and it's also known for delicious cuisine. So please note that there is so much more to this region than just the vineyards and the wine. The history goes without saying. It has a very rich Roman history. It dates back way back to pre-Roman times. And so because of that, there's a lot of archaeological sites that you'll be seeing here, a lot of UNESCO World Heritage sites. This is an example of one of them. It's an amphitheater. And I can tell you that my husband, who went on a trip with me to France, was not that interested in wine like I was. That wasn't his thing. But when he went on this trip and came home, he told me it was his favorite river cruise. And it was because of the rich history that he got to experience during this time. This dates way back to the 18th century. And another thing about Bordeaux you might not be aware of is that Bordeaux was actually twice the capital of France. Right now it's Paris, of course, but in the past it actually was the capital. And because of that, there's a lot of incredible buildings from that past time, government buildings that you'll see. And it also had a beginning in the First World War, and the capital, it has so many beautiful traditions. So what they did is they turned some of these buildings into theaters. And this is one of the most famous of all, the Grand Theater in Bordeaux. Other things that you'll see along the way in the way of architecture and history are these beautiful sites. Now, this is one of the famous cathedrals that you'll be visiting. I love this particular picture also of one of the walkways you'll be going down. And if you start to really take in these images, you can see that this area of France was spared a lot of the damages of the wars, the past wars, which is great. So it's very intact. One of the most beloved places we visit is Saint-Emilion. When you're looking at these images, the one that stands out to me first is the little cafe area. If you've been to Italy, it kind of reminds you of that. There's all these little town squares where they have put together these little eating areas or little drinking areas where you can just sit and enjoy the sights of the town. And so this is a good example of what you can do at this particular region. It is all UNESCO heritage site as well. In addition to that, they've got some incredible cathedrals like this one, which is made out of one single piece of limestone. It's hard to explain that, but when you see it, it will be a sight to behold. And then the architecture, as we go into it, now this is in the main part of town in Bordeaux. This is a reflecting pool that you'll see. When you start doing research on Bordeaux, you're going to see images of this particular building in this area quite often. And yes, you can see it's all bustling. And right in the middle of the heart of Bordeaux, all of the little cars are going by, but yet you still see this incredible site. And the bridge in Bordeaux, the Pont des Pierres, is one of the most photographed images of this region. And of course, you're going to have an opportunity to walk across it, to take a picture of it, but you're going to also see it from the ship itself. Now, for art lovers, there is some vibrant art areas in Bordeaux. This is the new museum. So this one is the new, that's why the architecture looks so new and modern. And you have the opportunity to visit this and see this particular museum, but then you contrast it with the old. And what you'll see here, this is a fine arts museum, and it was actually established back in 1801. And there are many famous painters, paintings in this building, like you might want to see Picasso, or I can't say this, I can't talk tonight. When Renoir, also Rubens is in here. So there's many, many paintings represented in here. And I'm assuming also Van Gogh. There is a digital art center as well. This is actually done in a World War II docking stall. And what they have done here is they have taken this docking stall and they have created images which are illuminated, by camera system onto the walls. And everyone that sees this, it takes their breath away. They have this in a few different parts of France, but this one to me is the most stunning because of the reflecting pool. And so let's now talk about the wine regions, because obviously if you're interested in Bordeaux, you're interested most likely in something to do with wine. So these are the various wine regions in Bordeaux. I'm not going to go through them all, but I just want you to see them visually. They're color-coded, and you can see how the river that you will be cruising on is going through all of them. So this, to me, is the most quintessential picture of Bordeaux. You will see it. This is a famous wall right there in Bordeaux, and the ship will be docked right near that. So you'll be able to just walk into town at night. You'll be able to, go and have a glass of wine, walk along the water and enjoy it. From there, you'll go on to Saint-Emilion. Saint-Emilion is where we also do biking tours. This is an awesome place to bike, but we also have some very famous wine tastings here in some of the chateaus, which you will enjoy along the way while cruising through all these vineyards. What I love about France, which is very different than any other area of Europe, is that all of the vineyards also feature a chateau. And that's not something that you just see freely off of the Danube or the Rhine River, but this is what you'll see quite often in the south of France. Another view of that beautiful vineyard area. And speaking of wineries and vineyards and visits, I know a lot of you are very interested in this particular area. So this is a listing of some of the chateaus that we visit from this cruise. We don't visit all of these, and because it's so early yet for 2025, I can't tell you which exact ones will be visited during the course of your cruise, but I can tell you there will be one every day. So when we get closer, we'll be able to tell you exactly what chateaus will be visited along the way. And you might excuse me, you might have a picture of yourself like me, drinking just a little bit of the wine along the way. That's just a typical day on AMAWaterways. Here's one of the beautiful famous chateaus that we will be visiting, the Chateau Giroux. This one has always been one of the favorites, and normally we will visit it there. Also, the Rothschild is right near there as well. Now, this one is more of a historic site that we visit, but I will tell you almost all of the chateaus in this part of France also are occupied. I love to share this image because it gives you a true concept of what this river cruise experience is going to be like. At the beginning, I showed you the picture of our Amadolce docked right in the town. This is it docked right up against one of the vineyards. And this is very typical of the Bordeaux trip. One of the favorite stops along this trip is in what an American would say Cadillac, but it's really Cadillac. And this is a chateau that is still occupied by the family that owns it, and they invite you in to see it. And I don't even have to say anything. When you see this image, you know it's really what you consider a castle to be, castles that you would see off the Rhine or off the Danube. Well, these are the way you see a castle in France. They are mostly always surrounded by vineyards in the middle of a beautiful area, a green area, and they are the highlight. And then this trip ends back in Bordeaux again. So if you don't get enough of it at the beginning, you get to have your grand finale there. I love this aerial shot so you can truly appreciate the region that you're going to and see the setting, how beautiful it is. On board, I just going to share some images of what you might be liking to eat along the way. Maybe you're into oysters. If you are, you're going to love this trip because oysters, some of the best oysters in France are served right here from Bordeaux. It's quite famous for that. And also even Gordon Ramsay himself, he expanded a restaurant there to that area. So if you're familiar with Gordon Ramsay, which I think most people are, you will be able to even maybe check out his restaurant. There's also clams and other types of seafood. There's the white asparagus. very unique to this region. And also, everyone knows escargot and France go together with a good glass of red wine. And there's that wine. Oh, I forgot I had this image. How perfect. Oh, I'm getting thirsty now, ladies. I should have gotten my glass of wine. I made a mistake and don't have it filled. Heather, you got one there. Have a sip for me. So cheers. So you will be enjoying all the wines I mentioned a little bit earlier, that yes, the wines that we will serve on board AMAWaterways are premium. We take pride in our wines. We change them out so you can try different ones along the way. And now let me just show you briefly the ship that we're going to be using. This is a French balcony ship I mentioned before. That means that the balcony has a sliding glass door. So it has a full floor to ceiling window. When you walk in the room, you really will be wowed. The ships that we operate in France are smaller, and they should be, because they fit better in the estuaries and the small little curves around the river that we're going to be negotiating. On this one, I don't know why, but everybody's up on the top deck. They must have been having a party that day. I wish I was there. But all this stateroom areas are in the rear of the ship, and all of the public areas are in the front of the ship. So they're very quiet and very peaceful. There's lots of floor-to-ceiling windows everywhere. When you get on board, the ship is very traditional, very French-looking for the region. We've decorated that way on purpose so you can feel the culture that you're in. And then I mentioned earlier as well about our award-winning dining that will be a feature on board. This is the dining room, the main dining room that you will be enjoying your meals in, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You may sit at tables for 2, 4, 6, or 8, or even I think a table for 10. And we do have that wonderful chef's table, which features that wonderful dining experience, which will be an evening out that is like no other, where those chefs will be freshly cooking in front of you each and every course. And by the way, matching a beautiful wine to go with those courses. And if you'd like to indulge yourself further, there is a salon on board with both hair treatments as well as massage treatments. The staterooms on board are all very similar. On this particular ship, they're all 170 square feet. Category A, B, and C are pretty much the same. The location of where the stateroom is on the ship will determine the pricing. But you can see when you walk in, that's a floor-to-ceiling window. You open that curtain, you lean out, your toes are right there on the river. And it's just for me, I love these type of cabins. It's a really beautiful experience. You feel one with the river because your cabin goes right up to the edge of the ship. This is one of our category A plus 225 square foot cabins. And we also have a suite 255 square feet. The difference between the suite and the regular cabins is the sitting area. And that is the main difference. Now, when we end our trip, I just wanted to tell you, there's one really fun thing we're going to do with that last day in Bordeaux. We're going to be going out and visiting the wine museum. And when you're at the wine museum, you are going to get to taste some of that wine from that museum. It's a really fun evening where we'll be out there just learning more about wine and the history of wine. After your cruise is done, the 8 days and 7 nights, you can choose your land programs. Should you choose to go pre-cruise with us, you'll be coming in early. I think around the 5th of October, you'll have 2 nights in Bilbao, which is in the Basque country of Spain, and 2 nights in San Sebastian. I will show you images of those places in a moment. And for your post-cruise, you have the choice to go to the Loire Valley, plus a night in Paris, my favorite city of all. So what is included in these land packages, if you choose to add them, is the 4- and 5-star hotels that are conveniently located in the best locations, so you can usually walk where you're going. Daily breakfast. The services of our cruise manager that you see there, this is unique to AMA. our cruise manager is also our land manager. So the person you get to know and love while you're cruising with us is also the person that will stay with you for the whole duration. So it's a seamless experience from beginning to end. It includes the transfers, the porterage. So pretty much we give you off for lunch and dinner so you can go out wandering, but we are going to include some things along the way. This is a shot of Bilbao to give you an impression of what that particular city will be like. You can see it's gorgeous. Everyone loves it. This is my favorite place, San Sebastian. It is just something else. You have to pinch yourself when you're there. You can't believe it. And then the Loire Valley, also renowned for really the scenic beauty, but also for the architecture and the building structure. It's out of this world. And so I'm going to turn it back over to the ladies now so they can talk a little bit about the cruise itself and the cost of it and what they've put together for you.
Thank you,
Jen?
Diane. Oh my gosh, I am ready to go. I cannot wait for this cruise. I think I'm most excited, I don't know, about all of it. I'm thinking the food, the post, the pre, all of it. I can't even pick one thing. But let's talk real quick about the early booking rewards. We're so excited to be able to present this and be able to put this in front of you this evening. So the river cruise portion is October 9th through the 16th. And then of course, we talked about the pre and the post. The pre starts on the 5th of October, and then so then it goes through 16, 17, 18, and the 19th, right? The 5th through the 19th. So, so that's the dates of it, and you have the choice. So the cruise price range starts at $42.50 to $65.50 per person, and that's all dependent on what type of cabin that you choose. You can talk with your travel advisor about which cabin is best for you. So that's the cruise portion of it. And then if you choose to add in, we are doing a 4-day pre-cruise that is $1,056 per day for those 4 days, which is phenomenal. So you can do pre, or you can also add on the pre and the post. So the pre and the post is the 4 days pre, the 3 days post, which is $22.70 per person. There is a $500 deposit per person. This is a non-refundable deposit to reserve. The rates are based on double occupancy, and we have included already in the price above a 10% discount off of the cruise fare if you book before November 30th, 2023. I also want to let you know that we have such a great relationship with AMA. As you can tell, we absolutely love and adore Diane. They have allowed us to be able to hold rates for 2023. So these rates, I'm telling you, are going to increase drastically. So my advice is to get in early, book it early, so that you can take advantage of these discounts. So let's talk about a couple other things that are that's not included. Your airfare is not included in these prices here. Travel protection is also not included at this time, but we 100% recommend it. We'll talk about that once you when you're ready to book. The transfers are not included, your spa, your gift shop, things like that, those little extra incidentals. But things that are included in this, your taxes, your port fees, a drink package. You don't have to worry about taking out your wallet or anything for that. Your stateroom, breakfast, lunch, dinner. It's phenomenal. Everything that is all included in this, your excursions. So, with that, I am going to turn it back over to Diane. I think we're going to head out to Q&A. So we'll go ahead, and I think we needed, oh, there we go. And here's all of us lovely ladies. So excited. We will all be on this with you from beginning to end. We are doing the pre and the post. And again, we can't wait to do this adventure with all of you.
Absolutely. And, you know, the thing is that when you talked about it being all included, there really is so little that you can possibly pay for once you leave. I'm a testimony to that. The first time I went on AMA, I went up to pay my bill and they said, "I'm sorry, you don't have a bill." I'm like, "What do you mean I don't have a bill?" They said, "You don't have one. You didn't buy anything." And I realized because they gave complimentary wine, beer, soda, coffee, tea, water, all the excursions, all the food, I really didn't. There was a gift shop on board, but because I was out shopping everywhere else, I didn't utilize it even. So it was such a nice feeling, I just said bye and I left.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So all good. So yeah, so if you do have questions, of course, we'll be answering them for you.
So I also just wanted to make a quick comment about, I've had a lot of people ask me, make a comment about, oh, river cruising, isn't it geared towards like, the older generation? And I would say back in the day, yes, but I don't feel that it's that way anymore. And especially AMAWaterways which is one of the reasons we chose to go with them. And this is just a great opportunity for those of you that have not river cruised to check it out. And you're going to have, us as your guides to kind of help you walk you through this whole process. So it's going to be great for these first timers. And also just to guarantee that you are going to be on a ship with a lot of people of the younger age, within our age group closer to. So I just wanted to make that point as well, because I've had
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. I know a lot of people are surprised when they get on board at how active we really are. And how much there is to do. And I can guarantee you won't get bored. It won't happen.
So Diane, a question I have.
Yes.
I have my wine tonight, but I'm typically not a wine drinker. But you mentioned some of the tours, including chocolate or tastings, things like that.
Yes.
What is there to do for people who aren't wine enthusiasts?
There's so much because there's so many tours that are centered around the arts and around the Roman history and the culture itself. They could just take a biking tour, get on a bike and go for a ride. It's so beautiful to do that there. Yeah, so we have lots of variety. Although Bordeaux obviously is known for its wine, and obviously a lot of people go there for that reason, there is so much else to see and do in that area. So yeah, so I know they'll be very happy, with the variety. And were there any other questions, or does any Megan or Nikki have anything you'd like to add?
One of the questions that I had was that I received was about the payment plans. If
Yes.
everything was due at one time, and of course you pay the deposit now, and that's the benefit of us, being able to present this to you now. So you make the deposit by, if you take advantage of the offer that we have November 30th, and then you have until, 2025, around 90 days, I think it is, prior to sailing, that the final payment is due. And we'll clarify the actual time, but you have all of this time, 2024, in order to pay for this. So it may look like a large, price tag right now, and it is. However, when you're thinking about everything that's included with it, by the time you actually get to go on this cruise in 2025, it's basically free. So
Yeah.
that's it.
Nikki, that's what we call girl math.
That's right.
Basically
Basically, yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So I just
Would
want to
it
let
make
people know.
payments to you? Can they do it as payments then?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what you mean. Yeah.
Yes.
Chip away at it as you go. Yeah.
I think that's great. I love that concept. And a lot of people do that. And like you said, it's so far off still, but 2025 will be here before we know it. And I have to tell you, there's a real urgency for booking because frankly, everybody's getting on the bandwagon and everybody wants to go. So, once you get yourself booked, you don't have to worry. And you had mentioned airfares before. I wanted to say too that, AMAWaterways, we do have contract air, and all of these ladies can actually request quotes from us for that. And it is very, very competitive. So, don't worry about that segment of it either. And plus it's kind of nice. The airfare is good because you're going just to France. So it makes it for a nice, easy place to get to and from.
One of the things, Diane, that a lot of people have asked me about is why are we planning so far in advance, right? And on top of what Nikki was talking about with the payments and everything, I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but my 2024 calendar is already starting to get jam-packed.
Yeah.
So when we
Yeah.
start adding up all of the things we have with families and weddings and all of those things, along with personal travel,
Yeah.
holidays, work, 2025 is going to be here in a blink of an eye, which I hate admitting, but it's just the truth.
Right.
So the sooner we plan, the better, which is why we all got together and decided to put this out there to give plenty of time to make sure as many people as possible can join us.
Absolutely. Yeah. You're so wise to say that, because I agree. We'll blink our eyes and it'll be 2025. And like you said, I also have so many things going on in 24. You just start booking ahead. So, and it gives you something to go for too. It's fun thinking about it and planning for it. So if there's no other questions, I'll turn it back to Jen if you want to finish it up.
Yeah, I just really quickly want to say thank you all so much for being here. Please get with your travel agent. We are ready to share with you more information about this cruise. And a special thank you to Diane for taking the time to be here with us this evening. We
You're
love
welcome.
you so
Thank
much.
you.
You know that.
No problem.
And then
I'm
the
happy
ladies,
to.
thank you guys all for being on as well.
Yeah.
Thank you so
And
much.
thank
This is
you.
great.
Everybody.
See you all in Bordeaux.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye.